For 12 years, I've helped people buy, sell, and finance real estate. I've taken hundreds of hours of continuing education courses to help me deal with customers. And yet, I've never seen a course about how to be a good customer. So tonight, I thought I would give you a few pointers that might help make your life easier, might help make you or save you some money, and might even help you to avoid being divorced. My first piece of advice is if you're going to hire somebody for a professional service, to actually take their advice. If you want to lose weight and you go to the doctor and he says you need to eat better and exercise more, don't go eat a Big Mac every night and then complain that your doctor's a quack. In my case, I go out and view about 50 houses a week with actual buyers who are in the market to purchase real estate. And so when I talk to a client, I have a fairly good understanding of what the typical person who wants to buy a house is looking for. And I often have customers, though, when they're selling the house, that they don't want to take the advice, the professional advice that you're trying to give them. For example, I recently had a woman who I would describe her decorating style as perhaps crazy gypsy grandma style, although that might frankly be an insult to crazy gypsy grandmas. Picture seaweed green carpet, bright purple walls, color scheme apparently inspired by saltwater taffy. I politely suggested that she might want to put new carpet in the house and paint the walls, but she responded that all we need is to find that 1 in a million person to buy the house. If you ever find yourself saying all we need is to find that 1 in a million person to buy my house, it is true. The problem is you were the one. There was a big book that came out a few years ago called Freakonomics, and one of the aha moments of this book was that real estate agents, when they sell their house, will make more money than when they sell their client's house. And there are all kinds of nefarious reasons that were given for it. And I would, if you're going to agree with the statistics, I would say it probably is true. The reason for that is because I'm actually going to take my advice. Now, most customers I found are poor judges of risk. And more importantly, they're poor judges of their own risk tolerance. I can only imagine being a financial planner and taking the phone calls from people after the Dow's down 900 points, these people who told you a year ago that they were willing to take risk in order to make more money until, of course, they lost their money. Everyone wants to gamble at blackjack when you're already on 21, right? But if you actually have a chance of losing money, then it's a different story. A typical scenario I've run up against is a customer who, they love a house, they want to buy this house, but they want to put in a lowball offer on the house. And I explained to them, well, you can do that, but you have to be willing to accept losing the house. And they will swear to me that they're willing to walk away. They don't care. They're not going to get emotional about it. We'll put in an offer. The next day, they'll call me and say, we want to increase the offer that we put in on that house. Calling a seller and increasing your offer before they've even responded to your original offer is not a good negotiating strategy. I also, along the same lines, have people who want to sell their house and they want to sell their home for above market price. And they'll swear that they're willing to wait out the market even though they know it's going to take a little bit longer. Until that first weekend goes by and they didn't get 4 offers on the house like they thought they were going to, and they want to slash the price. This also is not a good pricing strategy. Both of these mistakes, though, are caused by the customer just not having a good understanding of their own risk tolerance. And finally, if you're hiring somebody to do professional services for you, you should be upfront with them about information. In other words, don't lie. If you're going to a divorce attorney and they ask you all of your background information, you might want to tell them about those pictures you have of you in women's underwear, because if it comes out in the deposition later, it'll probably be worse for you. And I'm not speaking from any personal experience. My worst story that I have to tell, though, was a couple with 4 kids who came to me for a loan application. By the way, the original 9th commandment was actually, thou shalt not lie on a federally insured mortgage application, but that was way too big to put on the tablet. I took their application over the phone, asked them questions about their income, asset information. Do they have any collection accounts, judgments against them? Do they pay any child support? No. Everything sounded great. Called my assistant, had her run the credit report. They were going to come into my office later that night and meet with me to sign all the paperwork. Come into my office, I open up the file and I'm looking through their credit report, and I don't even look up. I say, what's this $40,000 judgment for child support from Bakersfield, California? And I look up, and the guy's face goes white. And then my face went white because I realized what happened. His wife starts saying, oh, that's got to be a mistake. That can't be right. It's got to be his brother. That was an uncomfortable moment. She called me the next day and said that it actually was true, that he had had another child that she didn't know about after they had been married. Ooh. That was bad. I felt guilty about that. Although if he just hadn't lied to me in the first place, it never would have happened. Now the tendency as a customer is to think because you have the money and the saying that the customer is always right, that you don't have any responsibilities to be a customer. But hopefully some of these ideas I've given you will help you to be a good customer, make life easier for you, and more importantly, make life easier for me. Let's go talk now.